Okay, Kubota update time. It's been a little while since I've done a video. I've been busy with other stuff, and I've been working on this, but I just haven't had a chance to grab out the camera and really video. But I've been doing stuff that's not really hugely interesting. That's why I'm just going to do a quick update. As you can see, the hood's back on. I guess the bumper and the fenders are not on it yet, but I just stuck this on there earlier. So I was able to remount the frame because I got an engine in it. And no, it's not the Kohler. There's the engine that's in it. It is, yes, a Tecumseh. It's 12 horse. It's actually the engine that was sitting pretty much right by the Red Rocket's front tire practically for a year, over a year. Maybe a year, about a year or so, maybe a little more, maybe a little less. It was sitting there all last winter, that's for sure. Not even covered up. And believe it or not, this engine runs. I've had it running just on spray in the carburetor, like carb spray, carb cleaner, and it seems to run pretty good. Nothing's hooked up. Shoot, I just realized when I was out, I gotta pick up a spring because I'm gonna like to use my stock throttle cable, but since it's an actual cable, not a rod, I don't know if it's going to be able to bring the throttle back. But so I might have to put a return spring on the bottom. But other than that, it's a good engine. I've done the valves on it. I contacted Redneck Computer Geek, and he suggested a website to use to find out the valve clearances. I did it, and I found them, and it's done. The exhaust is 14 thousandths, and the intake, I believe I set it at 7 thousandths of an inch. So it cranks up pretty good with the new starter. Yep, got a brand new starter on as well. I ordered the starter last Sunday. It came in on Wednesday, so pretty good timing for the starter. And I'm not going to fire it up for you right now because nothing is hooked up. I got to work on fabricating some lines in here. I got to hook up, get ground in here. I got to figure out the choke. I got to drill a hole somewhere in the dash of this tractor to put a choke in, because the stock throttle is a like this is standard. You pull it all the way up and it chokes it. This carburetor, it's not the original carburetor on this, and it's not the original intake. This engine did not come with a carburetor. It came with the intake tube, but no carburetor, no nothing like that. This carburetor is from that engine that had the bad governor. So it's a good carb. I gotta make it work off this engine. So originally this engine would have had a standard Craftsman style throttle, and so basically when it went all the way up to choke, it would choke itself without having to have a separate cable. This engine is the engine that used to be in my engine test stand, but when I got that, I pulled it out because I had no use for it at the time. I'm happy I didn't scrap it because this engine seems to be good. So that's pretty much it for that. And I did get the valve cover modified. As you can see, there's a little adapter on here now, and I JB welded that in place, and it should be all good. I got to change the oil in this engine again. Some moisture got in it, so I'm going to put some seafoam in it and change the oil again. But we've been having rain for the last few days, so that's another reason why I haven't been able to do a video. I've just been able to do little bits of stuff on this and basically go back in the house because it starts to rain again. I still need to get a mower belt, and I may or may not get the idler wheel for right here, because I am keeping this tractor. I don't know if I mentioned that previously, but yeah, I am keeping this. This is going back out to the house next door to where I got this from. So I'm related to them. It's my in-laws, so it's going out there. But once it's done, of course. So I am keeping it. So that's pretty much it for now. So stay tuned. Okay, I got a few things done now. The wiring is now complete. I have found a spot for the solenoid right there, just in front of the battery. I find right there, all the stock wiring actually reaches to the solenoid. So I did not have to extend out anything. I would have put the solenoid there before, but the Kohler motor just about went to the battery tray. That's how much bigger the Kohler motor was to this motor. So it went back to like here. So anyways, that's done. It will crank and it will start by the key, but there's no fuel system yet, so it will mainly just crank. And there is an issue with that solenoid. One of the connections going into it is loose, so I got another one in the shop. I got to get that replaced. See, sometimes it goes, sometimes it doesn't. Starter is not getting hot at all, so the motor seems to be good. All I really did was down here, this is the clip that was off of that body right there, so that's just plugged right into there, and that's running everything. This wire here just needs to be clipped back down like so. I'll do that in a minute. But I've sprayed some carb cleaner in it. It ran, I shut it off by the key, and I quickly turned it back on. It turned right back on again, and everything seems to be good. I am missing a wire though. There's a constant power feed wire on this. I forget where it is. That they're supposed to be. That's from the stock engine. The constant power feed to the carburetor. I don't remember where that wire went. Basically, I don't know where it is right now. Everything's all hooked up the way it should be, but I cannot find that wire. It has to be here, I know that. So, I've had this harness completely apart, unless it's back in this harness somewhere. It's the only thing I can think of. Or it fell out and it's up here somewhere. So I'm not sure where that wire is currently right now, but it's not a huge deal as long as it doesn't ground out on anything. But other than that, I am still working on this. I'm gonna hook up the fuel system next, see if it will work, see if it will draw fuel from the tank. I gotta put some gas in the tank. I gotta hook up the fuel pump. Gotta grab it, it's sitting in the shop. I'm gonna try the stock one that's on here. Hopefully it doesn't flood this motor. This motor is 12 horse, and the other motor is 12 horse as well, or 12.5, but a few differences. Kawasaki versus Kohler. So that's main differences. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now. Actually, there's that wire right there I was looking for. This wire right here needs to be just capped. It's a constant power feed. So I don't think I'll need it with this tractor. Where it's going to, I don't think I'm going to really require it. You can just set it right there. Will be perfectly fine. Because when I had the Kohler in here, I just had that running down the side of the motor and hooking up to the carburetor on the Kohler. And there is a safety cap on there, so it shouldn't liven up itself. So even what I could do is just leave that there, and if the solenoid ever fails, I could probably use that, or if the key switch fails, I can use that, just tap that onto the engagement on the solenoid and it will start. So the headlights do work. It's just one though. The other one's just burned out as far as I know. I haven't even really looked at it, I haven't had a chance to. But other than that, I am going to continue, hopefully get the fuel system done tonight, and hopefully this will run. I don't know about hooking up the throttle yet, but at least if I can get it running at the low idle would be nice. So stay tuned. Okay, it works. I just hooked up the fuel pump, just temporary. As you can see, the lines are still weeping. But I've got it to work, so I'm going to hold my camera and the fuel pump at the same time and see if it'll go. There we go. So I gotta figure out how to mount the fuel pump now. I'm probably gonna mount it to the shroud like the old one was. I got the shroud out here. It's sitting right here. Obviously, there's no throttle, and there's no choke yet. So there's no throttle control, no choke control. But I was able to rev it a bit, and it did work. So that's a good sign. But other than that, my fuel pump modification seems to work. I'm getting vacuum. I gotta disconnect this again. My puppy is crying, and yeah, it seems like it's gonna work, so stay tuned. Okay, I'm done with the Kubota for the night. I'm having one minor issue, fairly minor, some people may call it a major issue. The fuel pump is making way too much fuel pressure. So what's happening is, I'm not going to fire it up again, I just had it running earlier. It's flooding itself out. I figured, okay, stick the air intake on and see if that might help the issue. It didn't. I'm worried about running it too much because I don't want to dump fuel into the oil. So I got this one adjuster on the side. I'm not 100% sure if that's the fuel mixture or if that's the one of the other adjustments. So I'm gonna try that. But I've seen before people put a basically just a fuel shut-off valve on, and you just basically turn it halfway so you can limit the amount of fuel that the engine's getting. So I'm thinking about trying that. I saw that on Lando's office before. But if anyone else has any other suggestions, please let me know. It'd be greatly appreciated. I need any help I can get. So that's pretty much it for this video. Tractor is done for now. Still got to do the throttle cable. No throttle yet, no choke yet. But other than that, it will run. It runs pretty good. This is the bracket for the choke right here. So anyways, if anyone has any ideas, please let me know in the comment section below or send me a personal message. It would be greatly appreciated. So I'll talk to everyone later. Please keep it redneck like always, and please subscribe and comment.